Hello, my name, I can't say it because this is for Trillium Valley Day Camp. And at Trillium Valley, I'm known as Aspen. So I'm gonna go with that for today. I was asked to do some videoing at Wolf Hollow Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. And that is where I am the executive director. It is located on San Juan Island in Washington State. We're almost to Canada. And so you can see some of the pictures of the animals that we care for behind me. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to take you on a little tour and I'm going to give you some behind the scenes look at what it is to do wildlife rehabilitation. And so as executive director, I don't do all the beneficial hands-on things, but I'm going to go and take the videos of our wonderful rehabbers who do all of that wonderful work. Right now we have just about 30 animals in care. So I will show you some of the animals in care. I will show you some of the enclosures where they stay, because oftentimes they start inside in smaller areas, sometimes in smaller cages. As they grow or as they get stronger, we move them into larger and then larger enclosures so they can get their muscles back into shape for being released, as well as be able to feed themselves. So those are all steps that we have to take before they're ready to go back out into the wild. But I'm very happy to do this video for Trillium Valley Day Camp for Girl Scouts. All right, now I've moved outside so you can see some of the things that we do here. Now, we don't allow the public to come and view what we do because this is wildlife. We want them to stay wild. So this isn't a zoo. You can't come and say, oh, I want to see the seals. We can't let you do that. We actually limit our time with all of the wild animals because we don't want them to get used to humans, because that can be dangerous to them. They could then think, oh, humans will feed me. But not all humans are going to be nice to them. Plus, it's just dangerous for them to get in your cars or houses or cats. So that's why we want to keep them wild. So this is what they see when they come in, is they see our board and all of the different kind of animals that we can care for. So that's what we can show the public. And then we can also show them videos like this. If you bring a wild animal that needs care because it's been hurt, because it's been hit by a car, or it's been attacked by a cat, or it's hit a window, or it's been poisoned, this is where it comes, to Wolf Hollow Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. There she is. That is Fossie. Fossie is our first little seal that we got this year. She came from lower on the Washington outer coast, and she's doing well. She comes out here and she swims for most of the day, and then she goes back into her small little tub for the nighttime. This is the first of the big pools she'll go in. Then there's the secondary, larger pool that she'll go in when she's a little bit. This is where the very, very small seal pups come, and they all have their own separate tubs. Now, most of these are not in use. The one in the back is. So this one has Cousteau, who is our newest little seal pup. Feeding board for the seals, so we know which seal needs what when. Anybody who's over the age of 18 can sign up to come and be an intern. Usually you want to be somebody who is interested in wildlife biology or something with the environment or an environmental education. But we do have housing here on the island, and you sign up and you come and you work. And it's long days, but it's a lot of really good hands-on experience if you want to go into wildlife rehab. So again, we are on 40 acres. So we have a lot of space, which is really nice because we can put them all over the different places on the 40 acres. So that way they can heal and get better and be ready for release. Now we have some animals we can't release. This is a sharp-shinned hawk. And his name is Aspen, just like me. He has a wing that basically was broken and then it got frozen. It couldn't heal right. So we kept him here, and so he's what we call our education bird. So we can take him out to teach other people about wildlife. And so this is where he lives most of the time. So he can't really fly, so he really hops around on these perches you can see that we've created for him.
And then our second education bird is called Madrona. And she is a red-tailed hawk. And she's actually over 20 years old. She's been here since she was a small bird. She had that wing injury, same as Aspen, and became frozen. And she's actually the better of our two education birds because she's a little bit better going out in public and having humans around her. You can see she's more calm than we saw Aspen. Aspen was kind of jumping all around, not very happy I was there. Whereas Madrona is a little bit more calm. Of course, she's got excellent eyesight. Whenever she does go out and we have her in a field and we're talking to students, her eyes are keenly focused on looking at those mice that are lurking where we can't see them. And so again, this is her home. She does have a little Oregon grape. And she did get a whole new home built for her because her home was 20 years old. So we rebuilt it so she can have a better place to spend her days. And again, you can see we have all kinds of habitats. These are for squirrels and small mammals. And even though that one has grass growing up in it, it's okay because that's what they need for where they're going to be living. And again, we've had to rebuild several of these structures over the years because we have been here saving wildlife for 36 years. So we've been writing grants, which is my job, to be able to have these facilities updated by our maintenance. These are two larger enclosures. The one that's on the left is actually, we call it the heron cage. Right now it actually has a bald eagle in it, but it is good for bald eagles and herons and owls. It's good for the larger birds. And also the one to the right is also good for owls. And sometimes when we have to clean out or repair, like Madrona's cage, that's where they can go and stay temporarily until their cage is ready. Here is the back side of the seal area. You can see the ramp. We need that for going into the tank to actually fetch the seals because we have to weigh them once a week to see how their weight is doing, how much they're gaining before we can release them. So we have that little bridge that we lower so we can get in there and get them out, get them to the scale, and then get them. And here's another one of our enclosures in the forest. This one's more for foxes or medium-sized mammals, and it makes sure that they can't climb the fence to get out. So it does have chain link all the way around. This is one of our largest structures. This is actually called the Eagle Flight, and it is a very large enclosure. And you can see the very large net because it is where we put our eagles. Sometimes we'll put a blue heron or we'll put our peregrine falcons in there. So it's a very large enclosure. You can see how far back it goes into the woods. And it enables them to be able to, again, work those muscles so they can fly for long distances, they can bank and turn, and there's only perches at the corners. So that way they have to fly the length of the area. If we get river otters, that's where they stay. They're very good climbers. So that definitely has to have that chain link fence on the top. Side of the building where we keep the food, and we have, for the 4th of July parade that's not happening this year, we have our paper mache animals, and then we have some storage.
All right, back in front of the wall of wonderful wildlife. I just wanted to answer a few questions that a few of you might have. One is, why do animals come in for care? Or why do they need care? Because isn't it natural that they get hurt? Sometimes it is. So sometimes that is part of Mother Nature and part of the cycle of life. So that would be true for some things. Most of the animals that we get are actually here because of humans, because you and I. Not because we want to hurt them, but just because we're living in the same world with them, we bump into them with our cars, or they bump into our house with their heads, or our cat gets them. So there's all sorts of different ways that they can become injured. Or we do it with like our little seal dudes or girls. When they come in, it's because they've been separated by their mothers. Now, their mothers haven't abandoned them. It's just there's humans on the beach who are looking at the cute puppies. So the seals can come in because they're on the shore because that's where their mothers put them, because they don't have the stamina to swim as long as she does when she's gonna go get her fish. So she puts them on the shore so they're nice and safe, and then she goes off to get fish and she comes back to nurse them. But when she comes back, there's humans everywhere that are surrounding that cuteness, which I know they're very cute, but you need to leave them alone. Or dogs are harassing them. So bad things can happen because we're in the same places as wildlife. So that's why we take care of them. And so other humans will see them in distress and they will let us know. Now, when it comes again to the cuteness, the seal pups, you should not pick them up and bring them in to any place. You need to call the stranding network that's part of NOAA, and they're the ones that go out and they can assess whether or not that seal really has been dehydrated and hasn't seen its mother in a long time and hasn't nursed. Then they can make that determination, but you shouldn't do it. And if you find Bambi, yeah, that too. You should actually just wait and see, because the mother will do the same thing. They'll leave their fawn in the forest where it's nice and safe and camouflaged with that lovely spotting. And then the mother will come back and nurse it later. So really, you should leave most things alone and just make observations from a distance, from a large distance. And then, but if there are small things like, oh, and they're in the middle of the road and you see that their mother has been hit, then you can bring it in, but put it in a box and keep it contained. But if it's a bald eagle, no, call us. So definitely some animals you can bring in, others you can't. Now we're on an island, so some of our animals actually come to us on the ferry or by plane because they come from Skagit County, because we cover all of San Juan, Skagit County, and North Whidbey Island. So we get animals in all sorts of ways. And see, there's my phone ringing because it rings all day with people calling and asking questions. So if you do want to call us and ask us a question, you can do it no matter where you are. If you're in Oregon or Washington, we're happy to answer your questions. And our phone number is 360-378-5000. And you can call us, or you can also look us up online, and we're at www.wolfhollowwildlife.org. Another question I get a lot is, wait a minute, I'm not seeing, is that a wolf? That's a fox. You're right. I didn't talk about wolves. We don't have any wolves. I know everybody thinks, but you're called Wolf Hollow. We started as a vet clinic back in the 80s, and it was called Wolf Hollow because she had experienced that vet with wolves. But we don't have any wolves because there's no wolves on the island, and really we're not set up to take care of them. So yes, we're called Wolf Hollow, but we don't have wolves. I know, it's a little confusing. But I hope you've enjoyed this tour of Wolf Hollow and seeing all of the wonderful wall of animals. And I hope that you've learned a little bit and maybe you're interested in going into a career helping wildlife. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.